Hello and welcome back to Building a City in Minecraft. This episode was originally going to come out on Friday, but I needed some extra time to film everything and edit it down, and I'm having to re-record the intro actually because doing the final editing and listening to it, I realized I sounded like an idiot. So I'm redoing that. Yeah, this episode is kind of an important one for this series because, as you can see from the thumbnail, we're building another bridge, specifically a bridge on the south side. Now, the reason why this bridge is so important is because this bridge sets the width of that southern river. So with this bridge and with it terminating on the other side, I now have the basic sets of river edges laid out, right? Long before I started recording this series, before I even decided to completely redo the map of this city and everything, again, before I started recording this series, I did a drawing. It was about a year ago. I did it around Christmas this last year, 2024, which is crazy to think that we're about to go in 2026. Feels like the future. I know. It's not that far away. But when I did that drawing, I came up with, in a sense, the final version of the layout of the city, using all of the experience that I had with the previous version of the city, all of the previous attempts at coming up with a layout, all of my knowledge of city planning that I've gained over the years of doing this, but also, doing my own research, knowing what's possible in Minecraft, right? I came up with this design, and this bridge is serving as, in a sense, the final realization of the early steps of this city. This bridge is, in a sense, creating those markers. And from now on, things are going to get interesting. I have so many plans, you guys. So many plans. That was my phone. I apologize. If you aren't aware, which I will forgive you for not, because I imagine most of you watching were not following me on Instagram when I was posting stuff about the old city. Because that's technically where I started. I didn't start on YouTube, I started on Instagram posting about the city that I was building in Minecraft. I only started YouTube again when I redid the city. I've started afresh. And if you were following on Instagram, you'll know that on the south side of this bridge, there is another kind of city called Winsdale, which is kind of a Brooklyn/Queens inspired area. It's supposed to be kind of representative of like the New York boroughs as a whole, whereas the north side is supposed to be more Bostonian, kind of like more traditional colonial New Englandy. Will it actually end up being that? Probably a bit, but kind of off and on. But that's kind of the general idea of the layout of the city, right? Newport, very New York-y. Above Newport is Brunswick, I think is what I called it. And it's very Bostonian, Maine-y, New Hampshire, like very much northern New England colonial vibes. And then south is Winsdale, which is, like I said, representative of the boroughs of New York. And then towards the coast, towards the east, on the south side, is going to be more like New Jersey Shore-esque, like Atlantic City, stuff like that, with boardwalks and casinos and stuff like that. all of what I just said, like all of that is stuff that would be hard to do without some basic like outlines of plans. And now that I have this bridge, things can start to get rolling. But also not exactly. Winsdale is a city that in the past only had this one bridge going in. With my newest design, my newest drawing, which I have right here, by the way. I can't show, I don't know how to, I would take a picture and put it on the screen, but you can hear it. That's the drawing. It's a piece of paper. It now has two bridges coming in, one at an angle because as the map is, Newport kind of curves around to the south on the south side. And now that we have this bridge in, we can start doing that a little bit. And then once I get that second bridge in, we're going to start really getting rolling here. I am very, very excited for the future of the city and the future of this whole series in general. To the point of which I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do this next episode, episode 24. The original plan was to work more on Montgomery Park, the main park. But I don't know. I do want to work on that park, but I have so many plans of other things. So yeah, I guess you'll have to wait and see. I don't know what I'm going to do. As for what I've been doing in the meantime while editing this in terms of working on the city, everything you're seeing here got adjusted. If you watch this video and come to the end and conclude that this bridge is a little low and that some of the pieces aren't done up to snuff, I agree, and I fixed it. And I think it looks a million times better now, no joke. I kept all of the important things, or at least modified them. Like what you're seeing now got moved back and a little taller and a little wider to fit a different street. But it does still, in a sense, exist. And you guys will see that either in the next world tour or the next, whenever video, if I build in this area again, obviously you'll see that difference. But I decided to post this video anyways because I think it's important not just to see the building process, even in a sense, the less stellar parts of that process where, you're having to redo things, but also because ultimately I did put a lot of work into this video, and so I think it's of value to see it again, even if a lot of this has changed for the better. Okay, so I am gonna leave it off here, and I'll be back for a surprise segment before the flyover, and then with the flyover kind of leading you guys out of the video. But for now, I'm gonna leave it here. Enjoy the time lapse with a bit of music, and next time there'll probably be a little bit more commentary because I imagine I'll have a lot to talk about. I recently came across a mod called the Voxy mod. It's a mod that allows you to expand your render distance to unbelievable limits by using LODs and that kind of a thing. And I decided to test it out just to see what would the city look. And you might be like, well, why am I looking at blue here? And that's because I genuinely, at least for me, it's a game changer. That's it. There it is. The city. I mean, it's just, this mod is amazing. Like, genuinely, I think for the first time ever, I can see my vision, you know? Because a lot of it is doing sketches and having basic plans and then just trying to figure out what it's all gonna look like in a composition, even though I can never really see all of it. I never thought I'd be able to see all of it. And here we are. There you can see the bridge in the distance, and you can see downtown and this area around the library and the park. Imagine when that park is fully done and you just have this massive rectangle of grass and ponds and all these things, trees. Look at the Plaza Hotel. I mean, man, that's amazing. You can even just kind of see the Singer building way over there and the Woolworth building there. And there's our power station. Yeah, I as soon as I heard this mod, I kind of thought about it, but never really went anywhere. But after I finished building this episode and recording everything, I realized I needed to see it. Look, see, there's our Boston area. But yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys here for too long. I'll lead you into the flyover with just this image here. I encourage you to try this mod. Genuinely. I genuinely encourage you to try it. It is fantastic. Well, thank you, past self, for going through that. I hope you enjoyed that surprise. I do mean it when I say I do want to bring that back, probably for the next World Tour episode. But like I said, it's not going to be an every episode thing. Now, because this is the flyover, I am going to exit out here because, you know, there's only so much time I have left. So I will see you guys next week for a weekly schedule now. Wow, it's been a while, hasn't it? I know, I miss it. I missed making videos. Honestly, there was a while where I wasn't super into it, but I'm back into it now. I'm excited to make these videos. You know, it is like almost midnight right now that I'm recording this. I've got to finish editing everything tomorrow, which is the day I'll be posting it. So, you know, definitely pushing the boundaries here, but I'm excited to do it. I'm gonna go to bed, get rest, finish editing, and then get this out for you guys. And I will see you all next week. Maybe think about liking the video. And of course, if you want to see more, think about subscribing. So hopefully you get notified the next time I post. Bye-bye.